There's nothing worse than trying to explain the benefits of a low glycemic and healthy foods eating style when that one person who obviously knows nothing about health asks you about blood sugar. And then you realize that you don't even know what it means to spike your blood sugar. Hi guys, it's Phoebe here from the Unconformed Kitchen. Today we are going to be covering the topic of blood sugar, what this means, and what it actually means to spike your blood sugar. This topic has a lot of confusion. If you research it on the internet, you're going to find a lot of really vague answers. So today I hope to help you understand a little better the concept of blood sugar, insulin, what it means to spike it in a way that's easy to understand and actually makes sense. The process of blood sugar happens as soon as the process of metabolism starts to occur. You have two different types of metabolism, anabolism and catabolism. Catabolism is the process that occurs when the nutrients and chemicals are broken down, and anabolism is when they are built up. When a person begins to digest sugars or carbohydrates, the process involves breaking down these sugars and carbohydrates into glucose, which enters the bloodstream. The glucose must enter the bloodstream before it can be absorbed by different types of cells. The starches, carbohydrates, and sugars are broken down into this glucose while it is in the stomach. After it has been absorbed in the small intestine and the stomach, it is then released into the bloodstream. In order for our cells to accept the glucose, however, it has to be accompanied by insulin, which is produced by the pancreas. The insulin travels with the glucose to our different cells in our body. Once inside of these cells, they can be converted into energy or stored. The two main cells which accept glucose are your muscle cells and your fat cells. Typically, a blood sugar spike occurs when the amount of glucose found in the bloodstream continues to rise until it exceeds 100. This happens when somebody consumes too much carbohydrates, sugars, and starches. Over time, and as people get older, the muscle cells, which are usually receptive to the glucose, which is accompanied by the insulin, become insulin resistant, meaning that the sugars can't enter these cells and they can't be burned. Because of this, the extra glucose gets stored in the fat cells. This also happens when we overeat on carbohydrates. It messes with your leptin, which is triggering your brain that you're full and you don't need to eat anymore. However, this cycle is hindered when you eat too much and then you can no longer sense that you don't need to eat anymore. Once your muscle cells are already full, they won't accept any more glucose from the bloodstream. So the glucose will then go to get rid of it and store it in the fat cells, which will always take more. However, this does not prevent your bloodstream from rising to levels that are unsafe, and it still causes a spike. The level of insulin produced by the pancreas also has to work twice as hard, sometimes making multiple trips, and because of this, over time you can become insulin resistant, meaning that your muscle cells will over time accept less and less of the glucose. Overall, spiking your blood sugar repetitively is very aging on the body and hard on your hormones and your systems. To apply this practically, we recognize that foods that are designed for your glycemic health, ones that don't rise your blood sugar, are foods which allow your hormones to function at the best, slow the aging process, and allow your insulin to be able to work properly. This may seem pretty straightforward to some, but for others, it's just scientific terms that don't really mean anything. That's why for us, it's important to realize that what we believe about food and science aren't in dichotomy, but are applicable to the way we think and what we eat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it gave you new insights and a new understanding as to how metabolism, bloodstream, and insulin work together. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends, and check out the Unconformed Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest.